This episode of Lore Drop is sponsored by Chad and Rachel Wolf. Thanks for listening from Kansas City, Mom and Dad.
My boss needs help, and he had asked for your help specifically. And they said, "Who is your boss?" And he says, "I need you to promise you're not going to laugh at me." My boss is Santa Claus.
Well,
and Ben made us play the plot of Santa Claus 3.
No,
Yes,
we did not. It was not the plot of Santa Claus 3.
why was it 3?
Because Jack Frost was the one who was trying to take over Christmas.
Oh my!
So what happened?
Welcome to Lore Drop, a Reinvent podcast. I'm Abby, the executive director of Reinvent Productions.
I'm Ben, the creative and artistic director.
And our third-party member today with us is...
JD, and I am the vice chair.
Yeah.
Yes.
JD's been with us since our first stage show, What If. He did not want to be on stage for it, but he was at almost every rehearsal, let me tell you, and he was amazing. He was our deck manager backstage for that show. And he also did the voice of a newscaster, which actually has become a canon character in Reinvent. Then he played Cookie, the robot chef of the Y2K Lady Legacy crew.
Yeah, the second crew.
For Lady Legacy Tale of the Tide. Most recently, he played Pal. Were you Pal?
Yes.
He was the Pal track.
Yes, pretty sure, yeah.
Which also was Super Commando in Ordinary Heroes. And upcoming for our May show, he will be playing Titus Imogen, a character he originated and played for our tabletop development of the show that has a title now. It's Talon Squad. Trust in Turmoil. That'll be going up May 20th through the 24th.
Yeah.
I was so excited to see that in the drive. I was like, yes!
Yes, we got a title.
Finally. Titles are hard, guys.
They are really hard.
Words are hard.
Yeah.
So the last couple episodes, we've been looking back at characters from Ordinary Heroes and just doing a compare and contrast for the rest of our friends who were in that show. And we're going to keep going on with that. But today's my birthday.
Yeah.
The day that this episode is coming out. So not the day that we're recording it. It is not my birthday this day. But the day it comes out.
I kept my mouth shut.
It is my birthday. So today we're going to talk about my first character in Reinvent is Aurora Remington.
Yeah.
Who... creating this character, I did not realize that when I created this character 6 years ago that a plethora of my friends would get a tattoo of the crest from her country on their bodies.
Yeah, that's crazy. We still don't have it as of recording
as
this.
of recording this episode, I have not gotten it yet.
I haven't had time, dude.
Maybe we'll see if before my birthday I have gotten that tattoo. My goal is to get it before then.
Yeah.
We will take you for your birthday if you haven't.
That'd be crazy. Yeah, I'd be like, you're getting
Kidnapping you.
Yeah, I have a couple of tattoos I need to catch up on, but Rondor crest has to be first. But anyway, so we're going to be talking about Aurora Remington today, and which will end up talking about Rondor as well. But before we get into that, we must decide the most important part of this episode, which is which animated trio we are, and I already know what it is.
Okay.
It is Rapunzel, Eugene Fitzherbert, and Pascal the Chameleon.
Okay,
I was really waiting. Like, that's what I thought too. I thought it was gonna be Max.
No.
I don't think you're the horse. I think you're more sassy than that, and you'd be the chameleon.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
Well, you think I'm gonna let you be Eugene over
No, I figured I'd be the animal, but I was still like, wait, chameleon. I was like, oh wait, I'm a little slow this morning.
Do you want to be Maximus instead?
I don't know, whoever. You can't ride me like a horse, though. That'd be weird.
That's why I said he was a chameleon instead.
See, with that one, I would say that JD is more like, what's his name? It's Eugene's friend from the animated series.
Wait,
I've never watched that.
The one that the guy who plays the genie plays. Yeah. No. Okay, so
See, now we have to do a fun promo photo where Ben is dressed up as Eugene, and then I'm just back there with a stupid little horse mask.
Lance Strongbow.
Yeah, okay.
That's the
Okay.
guy.
I'll take it.
JD's Lance Strongbow. So
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah.
But it's my birthday.
Yeah.
I want to be a princess.
Understandable.
So for most of our episodes, a lot of these are Ben
Creative
dropping
elements.
Ben's creative elements. So he's the one dropping the lore. I have requested that Benjamin help me explain the lore of Aurora because I also looked at this document and I was like, oh my, there is a lot that happened in the Dynamite campaign.
Yeah. Those of you who thought the Andrew episode was long, buckle up.
This one might be longer.
Yeah.
But I have talked with Ben that there's like story elements that like one I have kind of forgotten that happened because there was a lot that happened in the campaign. And so this might end up being like Ben's going to kind of like help talk us through it. And I might be like, oh yeah, this is a thing and maybe adjust a little bit. We haven't written down any of this as like canon.
Yeah, there's a few things that have been written down that you've done.
Yeah, those are like different scripts. So like for certain things that I have written, I can definitely give like a more detailed deep dive into. But for other episodes where we're talking about somebody else's creative element, they'll be driving the episode. But again, it's my birthday, so I can ask Ben to do
That's good.
the job for me. So he's going to help us out of going through the information that we have so far about Aurora. And we'll keep adding on to her. I did want to put in here, we have JD as a guest for this episode because I'm pretty sure the next episode we'll have him on for will be his episode about Titus Imogen, which is his character for Trust and Turmoil. But through him creating that character, I was able to go back and actually make Rondor more of a feminist country, which is like pretty cool, and add some development to Aurora's backstory, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So that's why you're here. We also like you a lot.
Oh, crazy.
So
All right. So, Aurora Remington. We're going to talk about Universe 17 because that's the only universe we're going to be talking about today, actually. But Aurora is an Azamar. She is the 4th captain of the Lady Legacy. She is the princess of Rondor, daughter of Queen Charlotte Remington, and later becomes queen herself. Spoilers for this episode. And she was also one of the party members during the Dynamite campaign. One of 3 party members who was in the party the entirety of the Dynamite campaign.
Aurora has ethereal wings that are made of light, which they come from her back for a short period of time, which can grant her flight. She's a protector Azamar, so that was the game mechanic with that. And in the campaign, she ends up getting the Idacras power ring, which gives her a healing factor. For the first part of the campaign before Aurora has her ring awakening, from a meta standpoint, every time it came back to my turn when we were in combat, I could roll a d10 and get that much healing back, which was great because I was a freaking glass cannon all the time.
Squishy.
But yeah, no, the joke about D&D being survival horror until you get to level 3, that was me. Hardcore, and continued to be even when I was getting higher level. After she had her ring awakening, her wings were able to radiate a healing aura, which was able to heal injuries and wounds to any of the allies that could see the wings. Yeah, which was really great. And then let Ben have more busted.
Yep, that gave me permission to make stronger enemies.
Yeah, that's my super commando.
That's my secret. Any gift that I give to the party is actually a gift to me to take off another level of the holding back.
Yeah,
crazy.
But yeah, some notable allies of Aurora include Iron Sights, Severica Agriver, Adriana Collarbone, Caesar Remington, and her crew of the Lady Legacy, of which there are many. There's much more than 5 to list off here. But those are some of the key ones there. And then notable adversaries include Malcolm Duncan, Festus Remington, the Emperor Graffarim, Mercury Soleil, and Gemstone Industries.
Stinky boo.
Yep. And Aurora's first real-world appearance is in the real-world year of 2019, but in-universe, the year 2025, at the start of the Dynamite campaign. She was one of the player characters in the party, and she was taken captive by Project Alpha and held in a research facility in Mexico. And she escaped once Richard had cut the power to the facility, and then she ended up teaming up with Severica, Adriana, Overkill, Richard, and Captain Amazing to exit the facility and escape. But yeah, so before we get back to the Dynamite campaign, we're actually going to do a little bit of in-world chronological storytelling, but outside of world, this was not the order of things that were experienced at the table. But we're going to talk about Aurora before the Dynamite campaign. And so, like we said before, Aurora was a princess of Rondor. She is the daughter of Queen Charlotte Remington, but she's not the daughter of King Festus Remington.
Yeah.
She's actually the daughter of someone else, an angel named Justin. Thank you. Yes. And so she did not grow up knowing that, though. To her knowledge, she was the daughter of Charlotte and Festus. And so one day, I think this was after her mom had already died.
Yes.
She had come back home, back to her room in the tower after taking just a fun little flight around Castletown. Came back and saw her mentor, teacher Simon, bleeding out in her bedroom. To which he said, "You have to leave right now. Don't trust anyone in the royal family or any of stuff like this." And freaking out, being like, "Why? What's going on?" All of a sudden, she hears her at the time fiance Malcolm banging at the door, asking to be let in. And so then Aurora flies away in fear and everything, and then boards the Lady Legacy as a stowaway. And then not long after they get out to sea, Malcolm and some of the Royal Knights of Rondor also board the Lady Legacy, looking for Aurora. And they start attacking the crew members of the Lady Legacy, at which point Aurora jumps out and starts defending them.
Isn't that how Ted died?
Yes, that is how. So at this point... there is one of the people who dies in this conflict with the Knights is a crew member whose name is Ted. Ooh. And then also, no one remembers this guy at all after this. So on a meta level, Ted was, at this point, in the Lady Legacy Tale of the Tide story, Ted is pretending to be a crewmate on the Lady Legacy. He is their spotter up in the crow's nest.
Don't touch that!
He pretends to be a human being until this point.
Oh.
At which point he says, "Okay, cool. Ooh, you're one of those children of destiny that I've been hearing about. All right, I'm out."
Bye.
And uses that as a convenient chance to fake his death.
Yeah, but he still hangs
and
out.
make everyone on the Lady Legacy forget that he was ever a crew member.
I don't know if we've explained who Ted is on an episode yet.
Yeah. And we won't do that here either.
Oh my gosh.
And so, that is how Aurora gets to the Lady Legacy. And at that point, she is, they also discover that she can use a special whip sword that they'd been keeping in the cargo area. And the captain at the time, Aaron, says only the royal family of Rondor can use this sword. It burns the hand of anyone else who tries to touch it. So that makes you the true heir to the crown. And also... now you're captain of the ship. Because he tells her that her mom used to be captain of the ship, too.
And she's like, okay, cool. She's 18 at this point. Mm-hmm. And, has grown up learning how to defend herself. Just because Rondor is a queendom.
Yes.
And so the majority of the knights in Rondor are women. So
or at least they were.
Yeah, they were. Stupid patriarchy takes over. But so she had grown up learning one way to defend herself and was being basically groomed to take over the throne, but not being taught how to be a captain of a ship. Mm-hmm. So she's definitely scared to death and what? No, I'm not supposed to. No, why would you immediately make me captain? And for Aaron, it was a way for him to keep teaching her how to be a leader. Also, Aaron was a terrible captain.
Yeah, Aaron hated being captain. For reference as well, at this point in this fight, they lost their gunner. Their gunner died in this fight as well. They also did not have a carpenter, a medic, or a quartermaster at this point. Aaron had been losing a lot of crew members just in general. sometimes because of him, sometimes not because of him. But so as far as the officers go on the Lady Legacy at this point, it right before Aaron makes Aurora captain, Aaron is captain and Jim is the chef.
Yeah. So, even though Aurora is very young and does not know how to run a ship, she's a very charismatic person. And it's just like one of those people that really doesn't know a stranger and is able to is just able with her charming personality get people to follow her. So I'm trying to remember the order. So
I know the order.
Yeah. So tell me the
then
order.
Aurora starts recruiting more people throughout a series of like smaller adventures and instances. But one that is already there on the ship is Lazarus Bastille. He was born on the ship and has been there his whole life. And so he just, in general, would always hang out on the navigation deck. And so he just knew how everything worked out there. So Aurora said, okay, you're the navigator now. You know how all this stuff works.
So a teenager.
Yes. Yes, an actual teenager at this point. And so after this, very shortly soon after, they have to make a stop in Germany to fuel up again and also make some repairs. And in Germany, Aurora comes across another runaway who goes by the name of Kana Vandal, who is an engineer, a craftsperson. And she's like, oh, this your boat? Oh, man, it really needs to be fixed. Do you want someone to fix it? I can fix it. Let's go right now. Don't ask me any questions, okay?
And she was like, okay, great. And Kana becomes Aurora's best friend. And post Dynamite campaign and whenever getting into when Aurora's queen is Kana, it becomes Aurora's most trusted advisor, which is ironic because Kana was running away from people that she owed money to and that she had screwed over. So that's how we got Kana.
Yeah, so now the ship has a carpenter and a navigator on top of Aaron retook his position as quartermaster and Jim is the chef, right? And so then next, a few months later, they have to make a stop in France because the crew of the ship has come down. Several crew members have come down with scurvy.
Oh.
And so,
Icky.
and they have no doctor on board. And so they make a stop here. And Aurora has to go find a doctor in France in this small port town. And she finds there's rumors of this elf woman in this town who is a really great doctor, but will never explain how she does any of the stuff she does. But also her rates are super cheap, and she refuses to take anyone who has insurance. And so Aurora goes to this elf who is named Sariel Sidwellin, and Sariel is helps Aurora specifically in that instance.
And is very French.
Yes, very, very French, very, very tired and done with it all. And is like... And
she's been around since the French Revolution.
Yes. She is older than the French Revolution. And so Sariel comes to the boat and says they have scurvy. Are you seriously got scurvy in the year 20, in the 20 teens, in the early 20 teens? And so Sariel's like, all right, you need a doctor. I will stay with you. And so Sariel stays on the boat as their doctor now. And with that, she teaches Jim, hey, the easiest way to stop scurvy from happening is to, like, get your crew members some citrus. Like, give them a well-rounded diet, dude.
Not just chicken and onion soup.
Yeah. And then after that...
before we go too far into this, Sariel does become, like, a motherly figure to Aurora. Not a kind mother. But
she's definitely the tough love type.
A maternal figure that she needed.
Yes.
Because Aurora really didn't have a close relationship with her own mother. But Sariel definitely is the tough love. Scolds her every time that she comes and needs to be patched up by her. But yeah, is definitely a maternal figure for Aurora.
Yep.
In a previous episode, I said that I took off work for mourning a character. Sariel was that character that when she died, I took off work the next day because I was so sad.
And so more time passes then after that. And the next time they pick up a major crew member, so they're missing 2 crew positions at this point. The boatswain and the gunner. A while later, they were back in France. And because I think it was Jacob or Lazarus got in trouble for using magic in France.
I think it was Lazarus.
Yes, it was Lazarus. Yeah. Lazarus got in trouble for using magic in France because in the reinvent world, France has outlawed all magic. That was a choice they made during the French Revolution because they said magic is a tool of the higher classes of the nobility, and so they banned magic.
Which is crazy because there's a magic mafia that's running.
Yes,
France.
exactly.
But
we'll get there when we get there.
we'll just have like a whole episode about France.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And so Aurora goes to basically break Lazarus out of this little French jail he has found himself in, and in here finds an American. And Aurora also ends up getting arrested in this process, and so. In this jail is Aurora, Lazarus, and this American who only introduces himself as Beauregard. And he is very, very disgruntled and very angry and just like, okay. He's like, all right, you're going to make this a lot harder, but just go with it. And basically institutes his own plan for breaking out. Because it's basically one of those like county jails where it's like, there's really just one cell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they just put all three of these people in there. And so Beauregard breaks out. And then he's like, all right, I'm out of here. And Aurora basically coaxes him into like going with them and being like, where are you going to go? You're American and you're in France. Like they're going to find you so fast. And so
With those stupid red boots.
yes. So Beauregard acquiesces and follows Aurora and Lazarus back to the Lady Legacy and insists that he's only going to be here until they can drop him off somewhere else. And then again, much like Sariel says, dear God, you need help. Okay, fine. I'll do your paperwork.
He basically becomes HR for the boat.
Yes, he becomes their boatswain.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they definitely have one of those. So Beauregard and Aurora get married later.
What?
Yeah.
As they're traversing the streets of France trying to get back to the ship, they did have one of those tropes of like, oh no, we're gonna get caught, and she like pulls him into an alley and like kisses him, and people are like, well, it's not them, and yeah, so it's like one of those things.
Affection.
Yeah, and he's like, oh no.
Well, it's France, so they're probably like, young
Yeah,
love.
Yeah, two
Someone
people.
break open the baguettes.
So yeah, that's how we acquired Beauregard.
Yep, and those are all of the major crew positions that get filled while Aurora is captain. Aurora never gets a gunner. She never fills that position.
I was like, wait a minute.
She tried so hard.
Yeah.
She tried. Well, we're about to talk about
Yeah.
how she almost got one, and then
She got close to it, but yeah, never succeeded. And so that was the gathering crew section of time. And the next one, this is the one that you have written a script about, is when Aurora gets her face scar.
Yes. So that is, and what's fun with that is that I feel like we were trying to like test out a mechanic thing or something, but you and I played that at our kitchen table in Kansas, I think, or I don't know what we were doing. We were playing it out.
Yeah, you just wanted to do a bunch of one shots and stuff to flesh out some Lady Legacy
gotcha,
backstory.
Yeah, because like for my process, I especially when we were early writing, like we would just have times where we would just start talking in character. So the story with that, so this is at a point where it's been a couple years at this point. Beauregard and Kana like have Aurora's become like better friends with them.
And Aaron has passed off Aurora's sword training to Beauregard at this point too.
Yes, because Aaron is also a terrible teacher.
Yeah.
Beauregard and Aurora definitely like well, not everybody. A good chunk of people know. Like Kana knows that Aurora has a big old Hagen crush on Beauregard, and definitely knows that Beauregard has a big old Hagen crush on her, but they aren't doing anything about it.
Yeah.
They fight like an old married couple already. So, but anyway, so they're in a bar in Pirates Bay. They're getting together and just hanging out. And at one point, Aurora's like kind of doing a lap just to make sure that everybody's behaving themselves. Realize that the two teenage members, Lazarus and Jacob, are gone. And she asks the other teenage boys that they were hanging out with, they're like, yeah, Lazarus saw a pretty girl. And she's like, oh no. Because the last time that Lazarus, or not Lazarus, excuse me, Jacob,
Yes.
got them into trouble in Pirates Bay, they almost lost the boat because he bet the boat in a game of cards.
Yep.
And she had to use her her riz to get them out of that one. So she goes looking for the boys, is ambushed by Malcolm and two lady friends, like knights. I don't know if I have them that they were like previous knights of Rondor or something, but they're two hot babes basically. And Malcolm attacks her. They sword fight. It ends up happening that she does get stabbed by him, and even though like she's able to like start healing herself with it, at some point when the boys are able to escape, he makes a huge gash across her face, and as they are trying to get away, I forgot what the other part is. Malcolm threatens that the boat has bombs on it, and that's why she isn't using her wings yet to get away, because she'd be able to get away really fast if she did. But so at this point, Malcolm is using an airship. Rope drops down. He's like grabs her. They are escaping, and then she sees the boys running back with like their arms waving and stuff. And she's like, well, hopefully they did what I told them to do. She is able to use her wings to get away from him. And sure enough, there is an explosion in the harbor. And but because of the blood loss that she's having and the amount of pain she's in, she does have a crash landing. And Sariel does keep her asleep for a couple days to fully heal the wound in her side. But the wound on her face does not heal completely. It does leave a scar, just because of how deep and the fact that Sariel was prioritizing
the life-threatening
one over the cosmetic one. And so it's a thing that that Aurora does become extremely self-conscious of. We do have in the lore, it's not something that I've written the details of, but Malcolm, obviously not a good guy in their early engagement, and this is like right before she does escape. He does basically coerce her and does take her virginity. Something that she did not want. So it is their not rivalry, their enemy relationship with each other has like that other level of it that like at this point she's like, he knows everything about me. And so it adds that level of just yuck. With that.
He's awful.
Yeah, he's a bad person and has no reason to be a bad person. Other than that, he's a dude. But anyway.
Just a dude.
Yeah.
There's a really... what I like about that script is that there's a really hopeful ending with that, of that Aurora's crewmates, like particularly Beauregard and Kana, like they rally behind her, and Kana does not let Aurora poop all over herself. She's like, it's like, we follow you because we like you, and we know that like what you're doing is important, and we want to help you do that.
Because at this point, most of the crew of the Lady Legacy is not from Rondor.
Yeah,
like that used to be the case, but not anymore. It's maybe a small handful.
Yeah. So, but because they believe in this young woman and like just the passion that she has to like find a way to be able to get home, and make things right in her country, but then also the fact that she's like taking care of everybody on the ship. Like they want to follow her. So she ends up with a really gnarly scar, ends up basically embracing it. And at this point, I think that this is definitely the start of a turning point with her relationship with Beauregard. Because after this, there's a cowboy on the boat.
So the next big thing that happens is, and also at this point as well, it's good to mention that after this event, Aurora had already been like gotten the Lady Legacy back in the good graces of Pirates Bay. And
because that's another thing that Aaron
they spent
ruined.
a while. They spent a while basically just working off a debt that Aaron had built up.
Oh wow!
Because he was so bad at building relationships with people. But after this, the Captain Torch, I believe it was at this point, she banned Malcolm's ship from ever coming back to Pirates Bay again. So this sort of became a safe haven for the Lady Legacy to go back to. So fast forward now we're in 2019, and at this point Aurora meets Ironsight. So this is when we ran this as a prequel campaign to the Cataclysm, to the Dynamite campaign, to get our friend Ray, like, to get his character Ironsights introduced to someone already in the party. So because in the Dynamite campaign he was about to swap out of one character into Ironsights, and we wanted to make the transition a little bit easier and give him like an in-world connection already.
Yeah.
And so in this, because the Dynamite campaign starts in 2025, we're going back to 2019 is where this is. And so at this time, Aurora is made the target of a bounty hunting job. King Festus puts out a job that says, hey, find her, bring her back. And so Ironsights, Bandit Klein, and more are people who take up this job, and this leads them all to Pirates Bay. And Aurora is here with the Lady Legacy crew, and they are already on their own, separate jobs. And so after a series of events, Aurora and Ironsights both end up in the Bandits Trade Union building in Pirates Bay, because Aurora had just got a lead from Owen Cambio about the location of her crown, the Princess Crown of Rondor, which had went missing when she went missing. And so that was also when Ironsights found her, and then they figured out, and he was like, oh, maybe you're not so bad of a person.
And she's like, who told you I was a bad person?
Yeah. And they were ambushed outside of the Bandits Trade Union building by Bandit Klein and some of his crew. And so the two of them got taken captive and woke up on Bandit Klein's, or not Bandit Klein's ship, but on the bounty hunter ship later. And they were halfway through breaking out themselves. They had gotten out of their cell and they were about to sneak off the ship when they hear a ruckus happening upstairs. And they go upstairs, and wouldn't you know, here's Aaron, Jim, Beauregard, and Lazarus all just wrecking house on these bounty hunters.
Yeah.
And here to like help get Aurora back. And this is also when Aurora finds out that Ironsights met Jim earlier in one of the bars, and they had already become fast friends.
Nice.
And so after this, Ironsights is like, well, they're all going to be hunting me down, so I'll just go with you if you'll have me for a little bit. And
she said, yeah.
Yeah. And so,
well, it's fun from a meta standpoint. Our friend Ray, who runs Ironsights, he and I are really good friends. He was my man of honor in our wedding. It was fun. He was my first stage kiss I had to do that wasn't Ben, because I kissed them both in the same show. And through the series of mishaps that was that show, it was a beautiful show, but I was working through some stuff. He and I just became very, very good friends. And we accidentally had like this little like romantic tension between Aurora and Ironsights. Yeah. I think it's just because of like how charming Ironsights, like, I mean, he's just like, he's a cowboy, and Ray's a very charming individual. He was the first person to call Aurora Rory.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I like that. So I like that a lot. But we were like, oh, Aurora definitely is catching feels for Ironsights. Yeah. And that makes Beauregard very jealous, which makes him very insufferable. Makes him a grumpy boy.
Yeah. So after this, they follow the lead regarding the crown, and this lead takes them, wouldn't you know it, back to France.
They can't keep getting away with this.
There's a place that Aurora and the Lady Legacy hated anytime they have to go to France. And so they get there, and Aurora and Ironsights go, I think they went on their own to go hunt it down.
Yeah, it was just the
because everyone else, except like most of the people on the Lady Legacy, is like, we use magic, we can't.
Yeah. Well, and Aurora was able to mask it enough that she was like, okay, just as long as I don't pop out my wings, we're good.
Yeah. Because also at this point, Aurora believes that she's human at this point as well, right?
Yeah.
So
she just so happens to be able to have these golden wings.
So she fully believes that the wings are a magic ability that she has. So they go on, Aurora and Ironsights go on this trek throughout France to find the crown, and then they do eventually find out through a series of like information gathering and maybe an interrogation here and there that the crown is in the possession of one Mercury Soleil, the head of the Soleil crime family, which is a magic mafia in France. And so they're able to track down that Mercury runs an underground magic fight ring. And they track him down there. And they basically talked to him and said, "Hey, we need that back." And he says, "Oh, only if you can fight your way through my top guys."
And she was like, and Abby was like, "No, I roll so bad.
Yeah.
This isn't gonna go well."
But you know who didn't roll bad ever? Iron Sights.
Nice.
So that's a story for whenever we get Ray on here.
Yeah.
But they do get the crown back, and they get back to the Lady Legacy. And after this, they make a short pit stop over at the Protectorate Federation because the I don't remember why it was, but that was just where you guys went. I think it was a fuel stop or whatever. Anyway. They went to the Protector Federation, and on the island that they went to, basically everyone has to like pass through a scanner to be like, "Okay, cool, you're good."
It's a lineage detector.
Yes. Because the Protector Federation, it's on paper, this is a series of islands that are like refugee locations. It's like, okay, cool. This is, if you're a refugee, come here. The really messed up thing is though that they are sorted by nationality and species to say what island they go to. And so Aurora walks through one of these scanners and says, "Hey, you're not a human, you're an Azamar." And Aurora's like, "What's an Azamar?"
What now?
And then there's the Protector Federation is
run by
Azamars.
Yeah. And so they explain, it's like, "Oh, one of your parents must have been an angel or a celestial being of some sort."
And she said, "Huh?"
Yeah. And so it is at this point that Aaron finally, after having Aurora on the ship for years at this point, finally tells her, "Hey, I'm your uncle. Your dad was an angel. I used to be an angel too." And tells her actual origins now.
Yeah. So the actual origins is that Charlotte falls in love with Justin, who is an angel. The result of their love is Aurora. So the rules that we have for Azamars and Reinvent is that if a Celestial has a child with a mortal, the Celestial is basically giving up their divinity at that point. And whoever is having said child, it makes them barren afterwards. So like Charlotte was only able to have Aurora after that. So basically Justin had the choice of
the kid dies or you die.
Yeah. So he chose to give that up, went and spent the rest of his life with Charlotte in Rondor before he died. And Aurora was born, and what they did for the cover up, because like it's a child who was born with silver hair
and is not white.
And is not white. is a coppery skin. They were like, she got sick when she was younger, and just didn't. So that's why there's a lot of resentment with Festus, is that like the fact that the crown princess is a bastard child, even though like it doesn't matter, because like it's not it's not his family lineage. That is
he married into it.
But he is extremely resentful towards her because of that, and because like they can't have any more children after that.
Yeah. And so Aaron also shares that Justin was his brother, and that Aaron also used to be an angel. And so in lieu of that, he basically made a deal of like, I will be her protector. I will give up a majority of my divine essence so that I can live as a human on Earth. And that is where we pick up with him in Tale of the Tide. But that's a story for a different episode.
Yeah, they'll come later this year when we talk about Aaron. But well, Aaron's supposed to be her protector. Not super great about it.
No, absolutely not.
You know, like Ben Kenobi, opposite of that, really.
Oh man.
Does not know how to talk about his feelings to save his life.
Not at all. And so while they are here at the Protector Federation, this is also when Ironsights is attacked by someone who's been trying to hunt him down, one Tabitha Black, an old coworker of his. And so she shows up and tries to kill him, and Aurora and Ironsights team up to defeat her. And JD, I saw your squint, and yes, this is the mother of Bonnie Black.
Okay, so speak.
Yeah. And we'll explain that in the Bonnie Black episode.
Okay, fine.
This is about me.
I know. That's
Not
what I
about the
said.
cowboy.
Like I said, that's the fun thing with like Aurora has like a lot of like one-off contact with a lot of different things and people and organizations
Yeah.
in the world. And so like I made the not even a joke, but I made the point the other day of like if there was a reinvent like Trinity, like the version of like, you know, DC has Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, like in reinvent it would for sure be Severka and Aurora, and then the third one really is like a toss up between a lot of different characters as
Yeah,
far as like
honestly,
power level goes.
It'd probably be Andrew with how much connection he has.
Maybe
Unless
I
we
don't
want
know.
them to all be heroic characters.
That's what I would want.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Andrew has a huge reach. Anyway.
Yeah.
Which
But
he's
anyway.
he's gonna pop up in this episode too.
But so then there is one more stop left on the Ironside's journey because they've been trying to convince him to stick around as the gunner for the Lady Legacy. Everyone on the crew loves him. It's great, and
Except for Beauregard.
Except for Beauregard. Beauregard tolerates him. And for reference, Beauregard is from Nebraska. Ironsides is from South Dakota. And so there's a little like Midwest rivalry that goes on there, and it's not even like rivalry; it's just them being like, "Oh yeah." But anyway, so they do make it back to Jacksonville, Florida, and at this place they are ambushed once again by Bandit Klein and his friends.
Gosh.
And so they ambush Aurora and Ironsights, and they are on the verge of capturing them again when all of a sudden a flash of light comes into this building and knocks out 3 of the bounty hunters at the same time and say, what happened? And when the light stops, it's a person with a blue and white outfit and a really goofy helmet.
Oh my
And he introduces himself as Zero. He is a member of the Order of Heroes, and he is a speedster. And so Zero is here, and he helps them fend off Bandit Klein and the bounty hunters. And afterwards, Zero says, "Hey, I'm on a recruitment drive for the Order of Heroes, and I've heard about you guys' exploits. Do you guys want to join?" And Aurora and Ironsides both say no.
No.
Ironsides doesn't do team ups, and Aurora's like, I got this boat.
Yeah, I'm busy. And Zero says, okay, and goes on. Also, Zero is Russian, so he does all that with a Russian accent.
Oh, love it.
It was delightful.
Yeah. And so this is then where Ironsides parts ways with the Lady Legacy and Aurora and goes back to his journeys. He takes, when they were in France, they picked up a horse named Max. And he takes Max the horse with him.
Yes.
That's because I make a Joker. They're like, what, you're going to ride the horse on the sea? Oh my gosh.
And so, yeah, Ironsides and Max go off on their own adventures now.
Yeah. And it is very, very, like, Aurora's very emo about it. Because she really wanted him to stay, but she knew that, like, he would not. But it's after...
He's a free spirit for sure.
Yeah. And, but it is after this that Beauregard finally does pony up and starts
Pony.
does
Yeah,
like
he doesn't admit his feelings yet, but he starts being less cagey about it.
yeah. And we've had it be that like Aurora has a horrible time sleeping just because of all the traumatic things that have happened in her life. So he's made her a dream catcher. That's a teddy bear. And he empties out the dream catcher and will do that for her. And there have been times where like he like has stayed with her through the night just to make sure that she can sleep. Because he's like, you can't run the boat if you're not sleeping.
Yeah, you're not an elf. You need sleep.
Because she would go days without sleeping just because she was so scared to sleep.
Yeah.
But they do end up becoming closer and
And so one of the last things the last thing that happens before the Dynamite campaign starts, we flash forward 6 years now. 2025 is where we're at, and one day at sea, the Lady Legacy is ambushed once again by Malcolm and the Envious Dream, but they're not alone this time. Malcolm's got some dudes with jetpacks now all of a sudden, with like high tech like guns and stuff, like actual like military grade equipment, and they are able to pretty easily overpower the crew of the Lady Legacy. And Malcolm's able to knock out Aurora, and he passes her off to one of those guys, in the with jetpacks and the armor, and they take her up to a helicopter, and then they peace out. And one of the last things that Aurora sees before like passing out finally is Beauregard charging at Malcolm, and then she like loses consciousness. And so we'll pick up on that in a bit. But the next time that Aurora wakes up is in the Dynamite campaign. And at the start of this is in 2025, she wakes up in a Project Alpha facility after just being injected with a serum that suppresses her Asimar abilities. And so she wakes up, and after getting the serum and being experimented on, and then the power goes out to this facility, and she's able to break out of her restraints and fights off a Project Alpha researcher that is in the room with her, and then meets up with, I think the first person she encountered was Severka in the hallways.
It's either Severka or the Help.
I forgot the Help was there too.
I think it was the
I hadn't
Help.
referenced him in all of this stuff. Yes, it was the Help.
Yeah.
The Help is another member of the Order of Heroes whose whole shtick is he is a butler, but he has a sword that he can light on fire at will.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Pure Forge.
Wow, I genuinely never mentioned him in any of the other episodes.
Yeah. Well, I was like, hold on, you haven't.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Look at
Love
this.
it.
Yeah.
Look at his little outfit.
Through getting out of here, so with teaming up with everyone, gets her equipment back, including her sword, and then they make their way out, and they decide to journey their way towards the nearest city, which is Juarez. And so she goes with the party and with Richard and Tower journeying through the desert. They encounter a pack of gnolls who try to ambush them. Aurora almost dies in this fight. And then a little bit later, they encounter a genie who gives them each one wish. I think Aurora's wish was... I don't remember what Aurora's wish was.
I couldn't tell you either. I think
Yeah.
that she probably...
It was either about where her crew was.
I think that's what it was to know the location of her crew.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, that's what it was, because you said they're in Greenland, and we were in Mexico.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you kidding me?
So yeah, there was that. And then that is when Severka made the wish for more power rings, at which point Aurora gets the Idocrast power ring. And so when they get to Juarez, they stop at the inn of a guy named Ed Venom, and they stay in his inn because he tells them, hey, this is not a night you want to be journeying out into the town. Because in Juarez, they take a page out of the Purge's playbook, and once a year, because Juarez is divvied up among 7 gangs, once a year, basically the city goes on lockdown. No one can leave the city or come in, and they say, all right, y'all, free reign. Whoever like has the most, power basically over the streets and most territory by the end of the night, you're in charge of the city for the next year. And for the past 7 years, the city has been under the control of someone named the Gov and his faction. And so Aurora and the party decide to stay in. They're like, we're just here in passing. We're just trying to get out of here, so we'll just stay here for the night. Except for the fact that when the alarms go off and the city goes on lockdown, Overkill and Richard are nowhere to be found.
Oh.
And so they say, crap.
It would have been great.
Yeah.
Could have just stayed the night. Could have just stayed there.
And so they have to then venture out into the streets to try and find Overkill and Richard.
Oh.
Tower stays behind with Ed to protect him and his inn. And so it is at this point, it is Aurora, Severka, and Adriana are journeying through the streets together, and they encounter they have several fights along this night. I was like remembering them all as I was writing. I was like, oh my gosh, the 3 of them had a much more eventful night than Overkill and Richard did.
Yeah, they only had to go do one thing. And when we finally find that stupid dwarf, we're like...
Yeah. They're all like, just like, scarred
sweaty
and everything.
and bloody.
It's like, you're dead. So the first thing that they do is that they encounter the hideout of one of the gangs, which is a gang of pyromaniacs. And they were like prepping their plans and everything. And wouldn't you know it, they have a lot of gasoline and explosives in their building. And they say, hey, we don't have to actually go in there and fight them. And when I say they, it's Adriana who says that. And Adriana just blows up the entire building with one bomb.
My girl!
Yeah. And so that is one entire gang, boom, wiped out entirely.
And then the rest of the time we were...
And I genuinely...
Libby kept offering, she's like, can we just blow him up?
I genuinely don't think anyone topped Adriana's kill count after that.
Nobody did.
Adriana is the chopper of dynamite.
So many war
That's
crimes.
crazy.
If you know Libby in real life, it's
Yeah.
very
It's
ironic
very
that she is the chopper.
And so after that, they then encounter the trio encounters a pair of twin assassins in the streets. And so the three of them fight off against these assassins. And Aurora has yet another near-death experience here. And even Severica has a hard time fighting these two. But they are eventually able to defeat these two and find out that they are working for the Gov, and that if they're looking for someone, that he's the place to go to go to. And so after that, on the way there, they also find out about a group named the Skull Mercenaries, who's one of the other groups in town. And so they're on their way there, and they come across this cathedral where Aurora is getting really bad vibes off of this cathedral right now. And so they decide to check it out. And inside this cathedral, they find the head of another one of the gangs, a vampire gang. And so they find a vampire in here and decide to fight against him as well, because he won't let them out.
Yeah, I think I do remember us being like, we could just go.
Yeah, and he's like, no, no, I'm hungry. And so they're fighting, and they almost lose this fight. Severica is the one who gets downed here, and she was the one that's like, because she was Severica was level 7 or 8 at this point.
Yeah.
And Adriana and Aurora are level 3 as of this session.
Well, we were level 2 as of that session.
Yeah.
I think when we started it, because in the
Yeah.
next session,
No, that's
we let
what
us
I'm saying,
level
yeah.
up.
Because this was all in one session.
That's crazy. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And so they're in here, and they're fighting the vampire, and Aurora feels just like a weight just sort of lifting out of her body, and that serum that she was injected with at Project Alpha had finally worn off. And so she's like, sweet, I can access my wings again. Boom, pops the wings out, and with this radiant light basically acting as daylight, makes the vampire just like super susceptible to all this damage that they're dealing now. And so that is how they're able to beat the vampire.
Nice.
And mechanically speaking, that is because, again, they had
Level
just hit level 3, which is when the Protect Erasmar gets their wings.
Yeah. I was like, okay, finally.
And so we had to justify that with the serum, because the prequel campaign, Aurora was level 5.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So with that, level 5 is when she gets the healing touch. Level 5 is when she gets the other thing. And so after this, they make their final stop. They get to the Skull Mercenaries hideout, and this is where they meet up with General Skull, and also where they reunite, where Severica reunites with Maurice Williams, who had also gone missing in recent years. And so it's a fun little reunion there between the two of them, and they can't enjoy it for long because one of the Gov's other assassins shows up and is this mysterious fiddler of some kind who is using magic to cast. This is not the bard, but this is someone else entirely. But they all have to fight against this fiddler, and they are able to do so and get out of there. And then afterwards, the party teams up with Maurice and General Skull to make their way towards the Gov's mansion, where they do reunite with Overkill and Richard, and they threaten him. They say, "You're dead meat, dude." Do you know how much we had to go through?
Just to circle back here.
Yeah.
There was a fiddler. He was on the roof.
Vampires. Shut up.
And so in here, they finally reunite with Overkill, and they go in here to fight the Gov. And so they start fighting him in his final. I think he had 2 other assassins with him at this point. And then halfway through this fight is when the Gov basically reveals that he had 2 dragon eggs just waiting upstairs. And so all of a sudden, midway through this fight, these 2 baby blue dragons pop down through the ceiling, surprise, and they start fighting too. And so Aurora's big contribution to this fight is being able to tame one of these young blue dragons, names it Caesar, and convinces it to fight the other one.
It was the best nat 20 of my entire life.
Yeah.
Nice.
I rolled a nat 20 to like try and like put like a lasso or something around Caesar, and I was just like, I have.
It was like the Chris Pratt in Jurassic World, like the holding the hand outfit. That's what happened.
Yeah. And after that, I was like, hey. Ben, my martial background lets me have a cohort. Can I just keep the dragon as my cohort? And then he nerfed him, but I still had a baby dragon.
Yeah, so that is where we get Caesar Remington from.
Nice.
He is a blue dragonborn child who can transform into a young blue dragon for 1 minute a day.
And as he gets older, he's able to do it more.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So after that, The Aurora and the party basically, through all of this, they are able to beat the Gov. And one of the Gov's assassins does get away. And they are able to make the Skull Mercenaries are the ones who are put in charge of the city after this. And the Skull Mercenaries were the ones who are like, hey, we just want to give the city back to the people. Like, we don't want to be in charge. We just want to reset it to a normal town. And so Aurora and the party spend the next 6 months helping General Skull like return Juarez to some sort of sense of normalcy before they part ways and go on to their separate things after that.
And Aurora is losing her mind
Yes.
during it.
Yeah, and this is also, we say in world 6 months because in the real world it was also 6 months before we got back to playing again.
Oh my gosh.
Because that last session was right before rehearsals for Crazy for You started.
No.
Yeah.
And so the next time we return, the next arc is the Arrival of Dravik arc. Starts in January of 2026. And so Aurora and the party, which at this point Severica goes off on her own way, so it's just Aurora, Overkill, and Adriana now. They also have Caesar with them, and Richard stays with them as well. Richard is like, okay, I will act as your GPS. Let us rendezvous at the nearest Order of Heroes hideout, which is in the city, the city of Vargas City nearby. It's still about a day's drive away. And so they take a Jeep. There was a whole argument about who was going to drive, and I think it ended up being Aurora who was driving.
Which does not make sense.
Yeah,
That's a retcon.
it was you guys did not trust Overkill to drive or Adriana. Richard needed to be a navigator, and Caesar was a child, so it was an order of elimination.
Okay, well maybe we'll say in the 6 months that
Because
they
it was
were
also
there,
no,
she,
you actually had land vehicle proficiency.
Yeah, and that yeah.
Yeah, because that's and that's a weird like D&D thing because you had the sailor background.
Yeah, but I
and
had
that's the only background that gives you vehicle profidency.
crazy. Well,
Anyway.
Okay, we'll say in the 6 months that happened, that Aurora learned how to drive.
I think we already said that at some point anyway.
Okay.
Anyway.
Doesn't make sense that the Brit knows how to drive. Are you kidding me?
That's crazy. So on their way towards Vargas City, they have to make their way through the Deadwood Forest, which is a forest of entirely dead trees in the desert of Mexico. And in this forest, above the forest, is a wormhole. And out of this wormhole pops a spaceship that crash lands in the Deadwood Forest as they're journeying through. And so it crashes nearby them, and they say, we should probably check that out.
Could have kept driving.
Yeah, and so they go over there and they see this crashed spaceship, as well as a gray-skinned elf standing on top of it, fighting off zombies. And so they end up helping the elf, who says his name is Fraxus Sycon. He is a bard who came through, and he's like, I am not from this planet. And so also
Really?
partway through this fight, more aliens also come through the portal, the wormhole, and also fight and are trying to kill Fraxus specifically. And so I think at this point was when Overkill stole some of their armor. So Fraxus then joins the party. He's like, hey, I'll hang out with you guys because you seem like a pretty good cover to me.
They were like,
Yeah. And so they make their way to Vargas City. But before they get into the city itself, they have to stop at a gas station outside the outskirts because something's really weird at this gas station. There's a whole bunch of Project Alpha grunts out here. And led by one super commando, who this is their first time meeting him, and Overkill sneaks into the whole thing, into the gas station. Oh, with Aurora, she also goes in, and they discover Dr. Joseph Bren, who is inside of this gas station, says, hey, they're here for me. I used to work for Project Alpha. I quit like yesterday because I'm not chill with them, and now they're trying to get me, and they're probably going to kill me. And also, he has a German accent, too.
that's the character that I freaked out about when we were playing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I know who this is.
Yeah.
Nerdy scientist.
And so they said, oh, we have beef with Project Alpha. You could be really useful to us. You're going to come with us now, and we'll get you out of this situation.
He said, okay.
Yeah. And so they're able to fight off the Project Alpha grunts. Super Commando does beat up and knock out both Richard and Caesar in this fight. Before the rest of his guys are knocked out. And then he's like, all right, cool, I'm out of here. I'll see you later, I guess. He says, it's not worth trying to kill the rest of you right now. So he leaves. And And so the party makes their way back. They get into the city. They make their way towards the Order of Heroes hideout, where they meet up with Circuit, Tower, and Warhead, who is at the moment the leader of the Order of Heroes. And so after this, they discover it's like, okay, cool. The Aurora and the party make a plan. They leave Richard here with Circuit to be repaired. They also leave Caesar behind so he could get some rest and recover too, I think. And then Aurora and the rest go to try and infiltrate the Project Alpha building to see what is going on, because Fraxis had detected some alien technology somewhere in the city. And Dr. Bren was like, also, I need to delete my research notes ASAP.
Yeah, sure.
And they said, well, both your locator says it's coming from this building and you need to get to this building anyway. Let's go. And so Aurora, Fraxis, and Dr. Bren sneak into the Project Alpha building in the city while Overkill and Adriana play distraction outside. And they discover in one of the rooms that they go to, they're able to get rid of Dr. Bren's research notes. And they also discover that Project Alpha has been in contact with aliens, and specifically the same alien planet that Fraxis is from, Dravik. And they say that's really weird. And then they are almost caught by someone walking with Super Commando and a weird blue-skinned lady named DN Agent, but they are not caught and they are able to sneak out. And when they get back to the Order of Heroes hideout, that is also when the alien invasion from Dravik starts. And so all of the wormholes across the planet open up and the alien forces are coming through. It's like the first wave of this invasion. So it's not like a full-on, like, everything going crazy, but they have like targeted locations basically. And so a group of aliens break into the Order of Heroes hideout, and the party with the heroes have to fend them off now. And they are successful in doing so. And this is when they all steal some of the armor for themselves. This is, so Aurora, Adriana, and Overkill now have Dravik armor that they can just wear and use as disguises. So they use that armor to get out of the city. And they start making their way towards Kansas City, towards the nearest Project Alpha like headquarters building, because they're like, okay, cool, let's go here now to find out what's going on. And the initial thing was that they were going to come here, I think, to get on a train to get to Greenland, because that's where the Order of Heroes said, hey, rendezvous here in Greenland, in Pamiet. We'll meet you there. So they get to Kansas City is where they stop. And then on the outskirts of Kansas City, they are then confronted with forces from Project Alpha, from Dravik, as well as General White from the Dustria City, like, West Sea Traders military. And so in this fight, Adriana is kidnapped. And it was because at the table, what happened is that Libby had to go. And so we're like, okay, bye. Something turned her to stone, and then she was gone. And so they were without Adriana for a little bit. And they were able to, and this is when we discovered how busted heat metal is.
Yeah.
Because when someone's wearing metal armor and wearing metal, when Fraxis as a bard cast heat metal on one of the aliens and was like, it's my armor, and mechanically armor takes a minute to take off. And so that just melted inside of his armor. Not melted, but was not having a good time. Yeah. And so Fraxis was specifically really good at like countering Dravik enemies specifically. So Aurora and the party then meet up with another member of the Order of Heroes, the Phantom, in Kansas City, and he says, "Hey, I've also got someone who I was on my way here with who got taken by Project Alpha. Her name is the Keeper of Dragons is her like hero name, and so he teams up with the party to basically get into the Project Alpha building, and they don't really sneak in because the second they come in, the chairwoman comes over the comms and comes over the PA system and says, "Hey, you three people, Dr. Bren, Aurora Remington, Overkill, Fraxis Icon, come on up. I've got your friend up here in my office." And Super Commando personally escorts them to the chairwoman's office.
So awkward elevator ride.
And the thing is, the Phantom is able to, he goes off and sneaks off on his own. And so he is somewhere else in this building doing his own things. And so they get up there, they meet the chairwoman, Chairwoman Zalora Sidwellen, and she basically explains to them, she's like, "Hey, you can always work for me if you want to."
They were like, "No!"
Yeah, and she's like, "Okay, then you can't leave this office." And so the chairwoman, along with Super Commando and DN Agent, fight against the party. And this is when this is when they discover that the chairwoman is a powerful wizard. And so she is basically, I think she one-shot Aurora with a spell.
Oh.
And then Super Commando is like takes out Fraxis, and the only one who you guys were able to beat in this fight was DN Agent. And then at this point, Adriana and Keeper of Dragons were revealed to be kept there also in stone statues, and they were released from their stone statues. And at that point, Keeper of Dragons cast her magic to basically to what she did was one of her signature spells is that she's able to fuse people together into one person. And so she was able to combine Overkill with Dr. Bren. And so that was that they were able to at least get away. They were able to get Super Commando and the Chairwoman to run away. Also partially because what the Phantom was doing on the side was causing havoc across the entire building. About 4 different floors had major plumbing issues and were flooding. A fire was set on 3 different floors, and it was just absolute chaos. And so they're like, let's cut our losses and get out of here.
That poor janitor.
Yeah. After that, Aurora and the party meet up at the at Union Station. And meet the hero triplets there to hop on the Northern Express straight to Pomiat. But on this train ride, and Richard is also in several pieces, and so that's just for reference. On this train ride, Aurora and the party discover a murder has happened on this train. And so that's
what happens on trains.
Yeah,
that's what happens on trains.
And so a researcher from Everlife Incorporated has been murdered on this train. So they go and do some of their research, and they find out that there was a drow in disguise as a normal elf on this train, who had actually, and the drow are the elves from Dravik. And so the drow had taken one of the hero triplets hostage, and Fraxis was just able to be like, just very Indiana Jones, just like, I'm not dealing with this. A really well-placed shot, and was able to save the hero kid. And so they get off the train at Pomiat, and this is when the Earth Defense Legion is formed. And so Aurora and the party join the Earth Defense Legion. It's all the hero groups of the Earth, all in one sort of umbrella group now. And this is also where Aurora reunites with Ironsights and the Lady Legacy finally. And this is when Aurora's ring has her awakening as well, and which is when she gets the ability to heal the other people with the light from her wings. And so this big happy reunion. And at this point is when Aurora sees Beauregard again, and he's got a metal arm. Because that last moment that she saw before passing out, we'll explain that in the Beauregard episode.
No. My. But he has a metal arm.
He has a metal arm now.
He was trying to save her.
Yeah. And so on this, at this point as well, they also reunite with Severica. They meet her again because she's here with the Stand, the heroes from Dustria City.
Because we didn't like Faxes.
Yes.
We had bullied John into changing characters,
yeah.
Which was so stupid.
And this was also, it was more so like John was the one who said, hey, I kind of want to go back to Severica. And I said, perfect. I've got the perfect way to get her back in. But this was also when Ray was like, I would like to switch to someone different because like Dr. Bren's play style was much more like leaned heavier on the role play things.
Yeah.
And he wasn't as comfy with that in the in that specific version of the character. Because it being so like there was a lot of Project Alpha lore to catch up on at that point. And so we were like, okay, let's switch into something that's a little bit easier for you. And so, and it was great for the party because they also needed like a heavy damage dealer, and Ironsights was that.
Yeah. The human cowboy.
Yeah. And so Ironsights joins up with them, with the party now, and they go on one last job with Fraxis the night before and so they go and hunt down a pair of Oni who had been causing trouble for the town on the outskirts. And so they're able to fight and deal with these Oni. And then Fraxis leaves with the Starry Knights, the sort of the reinvent Guardians of the Galaxy. He goes off with them to work on the space front of the war with Dravik. And then they also leave Dr. Bren to work with Circuit and the Order of Heroes. And then Severica and Ironsights join the party in their places. And so after that, the party goes off with, they said, hey, we got the Lady Legacy. And Aaron is like, please take this captain job away from me.
Take the keys back.
Yeah. And so Aurora and the party are then with the Lady Legacy basically for the rest of the campaign.
Yeah.
And so we're here with the Lady Legacy arc now. They are given the task of journeying to Kata Isle to find the mysterious mythical figure known as the Wanderer, which is this like druid of legend, right? And so on the way there, they are ambushed, wouldn't you know it, by Malcolm
Boo!
and the crew of the Envious Dream. And he reveals that he has sort of gathered up all of their other enemies who have gotten away to this point as well. So he has teamed up with DN Agent, Super Commando, Cord, Knoll number 4, and Bandit Klein.
Oh my gosh.
Gary?
Yep.
Gary?
And Razor, the assassin who worked with the Gov that got away back in the Juarez arc as well. And so they have a fight with the crew of Lady Legacy. There's a lot of crew members of the Lady Legacy that get injured in this fight. It's a really rough fight for everyone involved. Super Commando, again, really messes up Richard and Jim in this fight. Super Commando messes up Jim. And afterwards, they are able to capture one of the Dravik soldiers. And Aurora and Severica interrogate him afterwards and basically find out that, being like, how did they find us? And this soldier reveals that there is a mole on the Lady Legacy who had been leaking information to Project Alpha specifically. No. And that is how they found Aurora before, when Malcolm came with Project Alpha. That is who he passed her off to. And so that's something that doesn't really get looked into for a long time.
What?
Because they're like, well,
We
now
had
we have
other
to find
stuff
out.
to deal with.
Yep. We're just like, and so we'll get there when we get there. But it's sort of one of those. Is like, okay, we got to put that on the back burner right now. We have to go find this lizard man.
I mean, I was like,
Yeah.
we really do need to figure this out, but like, we
need to fix our ship and like heal all the people that are injured right now.
This is where we learn that Aurora is a little bit racist.
What?
Okay, not racist. That was the joke we made.
Yeah.
So we have it that, so since Aurora is a celestial, that with any like drow,
specifically with anything that's empowered by demonic or fiendish forces.
Okay.
And the entire like anything from the planet Dravik is something that sets off like bad vibes for Aurora, because the planet is shrouded in like magic from a demon that prevents any natural light. Like there's no sunlight that hits Dravik.
Yeah.
And so it's just covered with clouds at all times, and that's what makes it sort of like the Underdark vibes, basically.
Yeah, so
it's anything from Dravik has that remnant of demon magic.
yeah.
Okay.
So that's partially why she didn't get along with Fraxus.
Yeah.
Very well.
That
But
was the lore reason we came
The
up with
lore
it.
reason.
I was not very happy with John at the time, so getting to bully his character was the way
funny.
through it. Yeah, during that interrogation, like Aurora kills that guy, and because one, she's just angry about everything going on, but I think you had the drow like call her like a slur,
Something like that.
some celestial slur, and she was like, "All right,
Yeah.
I'm done."
Yeah, it was crazy. But so then they do get to Kata Isle, and they specifically have to journey into the desert on the west side of the island. And so they get there and they say, hey, we can't send out a giant party because the thing, and Severica knew this from her time in Industrial City. She's like, the thing with this desert is that like people get lost here. It's impossible to navigate this place. And so like the more people we send out, the more risk we are of people not coming back. And so what happens is that the only people who go out to search for the Wanderer are Aurora, Overkill, and Adriana. Everyone else stays behind with the boat. And it was also, they were sort of afraid of Malcolm coming back again and fighting, so they needed to keep strong fighters behind as well. So that's why Ironsights and Severica stay behind with the boat. So they're out here, and Aurora, Overkill, and Adriana are wandering around this desert searching for the Wanderer for 3 weeks. And they go through their rations and all their water, and they are on death's door. And that is when the Wanderer stumbles upon them.
Hey guys.
Yeah, and he is a very big blue lizard folk who is just like, how did you find me? And they're like, we didn't. You found us. And so they explain the whole situation, and he has said that something is felt off with the earth, and he's basically like, he is a like centuries old druid who is so in tune with earth and everything about the planet that he's like, okay, I will help you if it means that nature can be set right again. And so he goes back, he guides them back to the Lady Legacy, and then from there, they set sail for Rondor. because that's the next stop. Is they find out that one of the big holding points. They basically are like, okay, cool. We need to take Rondor back because that is where a lot of like stuff is stemming from. A lot of like trade routes go back to there for all this stuff, right? And it was also like we need resources, and the Earth Defense Legion needs a home base. And so this is the easiest place we can get right now because like Dustria City's out. Gemstone is not going to let anything related to the Stand or the Order of Heroes take place there. And everywhere else is sort of like they don't have a lot of safe places to go to right now.
I think that was also like we didn't want something that was landlocked either.
Yes, that too. They needed easy access to the ocean because air travel is a no-go. There's spaceships. And yeah, so like, okay, let's take Rondor back. And so Aurora leads the Earth Defense Legion fleet, and they break the blockade of Rondor. The Wanderer takes down the Envious Dream, Malcolm's airship, as part of this as well. He also the Kraken is released during this fight as well. There's a lot of crazy stuff that happens. But then Aurora leads the charge through Castletown to retake Rondor from Festus, along with the party and the officers of the Lady Legacy sort of joining along the way. And so she leads the fight. They take down Bandit Klein, Cord, Nother, who was Null number 4, and Razor. And then upon fighting Razor is when a demon bursts out of his body after they kill him. And they say, what, to quote a meme, what the hell is even that? And so they fight that and are able to take it down. And after that, they confront King Festus in the... at that point as well, Aurora is able to basically like re-recruit and convert back some of the other Knights of Rondor. So specifically, Sirs Alfred Calbury and Reginald Halimax are the two that rejoin Aurora in this fight. And so they get to the throne room, and they are confronted with King Festus, Malcolm Duncan, Chairwoman Sitwellen, Super Commando, and DN Agent are all here.
This is a bad time.
Yeah, and so in this fight goes on, and Malcolm tries to fight Aurora, but Alfred Calbury and Reginald Halimax are like, no, you're ours. Ooh. And so these two old men beat the hell out of Malcolm throughout this entire fight. Awesome. He genuinely cannot get a hit in. Yeah. Like, he was rolling so badly in this fight. It was great. But you know who is getting lots of hits in? Super Commando.
Of course.
What happens, though, is that Aurora genuinely isn't able to do much in this fight because the Chairwoman hits her with Power Word Stun. It's Power Word Pain. And so she's just racked with pain, and just mechanically what it does is it incapacitates the character until they succeed a saving throw or whatever.
Yeah, and my Abby's rolls with dice, not great.
Yeah.
So like on a story level, that is a very demoralizing point in her life.
Yeah.
Probably a peak traumatic point because of the thing that happens afterwards.
Yeah, because in this fight she is seeing Super Commando take people down left and right. She is seeing DN Agent also really like mess up Richard specifically, I think, and Caesar.
Caesar getting messed up.
Caesar's getting messed up, and then she sees the Chairwoman attempt. She sees the Chairwoman point a spell at Iron Sights, and then she sees Sariel clap her hands over Iron Sights' ears, and then Sariel falls over dead. And then so Sariel dies here at this point. And at this point as well, she looks over towards the throne, and Festus is just a pile of mush. And here's Jim covered in Festus's blood.
It was great.
Yeah. And so they are able to complete the fight. The Chairwoman does get killed in this fight. DN Agent gets decapitated. Malcolm is knocked out. Festus is dead. And Super Commando gets away.
Of course. Oh my!
He uses a teleporter this time is what he does.
Oh.
He's teleported out of there. And so afterwards, Aurora does hold a funeral for Sariel as a recovery. And this is when Beauregard finally like verbally admits his feelings for Aurora, and they sort of at least solidify their relationship.
Well, and she's also like, I swear, if you are the mole, I'm gonna
commit war crimes.
Yeah, war crimes, and she like it would have been devastating if he had been the one, because she's like, were you trying to get close to me because you were doing the thing? And like, it's very much one of those like, no, I was trying to get close to you because I love you.
Yeah.
Stupid. Why didn't you say that?
And so at this point is after this they sort of recuperate and rebuild. And so a couple months later, Aurora and the party are approached by someone from a group known as the Masquerade, and they're like, "Who is this?" No one, and like even the Order of Heroes, are like, we've never heard of them before. A woman comes into the throne room, introducing herself as Utility, and specifically asks for everyone who is not like in the party to leave the room. And because they were basically like, "How can we trust you? Who are you?"
Yeah.
And she's like, I will remove my helmet and show you who I am so that you can trust me, but I need everyone else to leave the room." Because like Kana and Beauregard were there as like the new advisors and stuff. And so everyone else sort of leaves the room, and Utility takes off her helmet and reveals this is Kana, but she looks 20 years older. And so what's going on? So this
Still
is when
super hot.
Yeah. This is when they find out that other universes exist, or at least they don't know that it's another universe. Kana's like, I am from the future. I'm from 20 years in the future, and the aliens have won, and I'm here to try and prevent that. And so Kana says, like, you guys have already like prevented part of our future, because back when she says, in my timeline, back when Festus originally ambushed you before you got to the Wanderer, we failed right there. They killed Overkill, and a giant demon erupted from his body, just like it did from Razor. And that demon killed like Severica, Aurora, Adriana, and Iron Sights, and several of the crewmates as well. And it wasn't until Jacob was able to sort of contain the demon within his body, and then she reveals the rest of her people who are with her in the Masquerade. And the other people take their helmets off, and here's Jacob, 20 years older. Here's Caesar, 20 years older. And I think there was also the Help was also there. And the Help at this point in the regular timeline died. And so there's like, wait, you're from the future, but you're alive. And she's like, yeah, the thing you did, like what happened for you was this branching point for us. And so all these different people are here. So she's like, what you need to do is find the demon known as Andromelic, and you need to kill him because he is the source of a lot of these problems.
Mr. Lick.
Mr. Lick, if you will.
That was our only defense mechanism, because he was so scary.
And so they say, okay, we'll find him. And so they're able to track down Andromeda. But first, they make another stop in France, because they have to. They go there to recruit another member of the Skull Mercenaries, one Gladius Maya, to join the party. Another old friend of Severica, used to be in the party in Cataclysm for a short time as well. And so for those of you keeping track at home, we've got a party of 6 now. And so they're able to get to some of the islands off of the northwest area of Canada, which is where they find Andromelic's mansion is. They dock on the island, and basically before they even get they make their way towards the mansion, and Andromelic pops out and says, cool, you found your way here. Let's see if you can do it again. Snaps his fingers. And also, Andromelic is a 20-foot tall demon with 4 arms and giant wings. Very like scary to look at. And so basically snaps his fingers. He has dominion over the entire island, and so splits up the party. So at this point, it's like the party, and they brought Beauregard with them, because Beauregard has personal beef against Andromelic, which we'll explain in his episode. But the Masquerade was also there with them as well. And so they're all split up across the island. And I don't remember who Aurora was like basically dropped with. But she was separated from Caesar, from Beauregard. And those two specifically were the ones that she was stressing out over.
Yeah.
And so they were all able to reunite with each other once again on the way back to Andromelic's mansion. And then they get in there, and they're traveling throughout the mansion. They find out from someone else who had gone in here beforehand. They meet 2 very peculiar thieves. One, Laciel Melran, and one, Faith Genris, I believe is her last name.
Yeah.
Who had also come here to do a thievery of their own. And it's just like crazy how we ran into each other here. That demon man is immune to everything. You can't fight him. And there's also a ghost here who was helping them out. It was basically like, you need to find these 16 candles and snuff them out so that you can actually deal damage to him. Mechanically, each of these candles represented a damage type in D&D, and so taking out that candle would make him not vulnerable to the damage, but he wouldn't be immune to it anymore. So he would still resist the damage, but they would at least be able to do damage.
Yeah.
And so they had to go journeying through the mansion to find these candles. And so the 2 that Aurora found, one was for the radiant damage, which had the soul of her father, Justin. And so she sees her father for the first time ever.
And last time.
And last time. She's able to have a conversation with him, and then is able to snuff out his candle and put him to rest finally. And then later on, once she reunites in the mansion with Severica, they both discover the candle with the soul of Andrew Blood in it. And Severica's like, "Are you dead?" And he says, "Oh no,
Not at all.
And Aurora gets such extremely bad like vibes from this candle that she cuts it in half before a conversation can even happen.
John got mad at me.
Yeah.
But I was like, nope.
Yeah. And so eventually everyone is able to reconvene back together, and they go and confront Andromalik, and they are able to defeat him. And then when they make their way back to the Lady Legacy, they see that the ship has been blown up,
Again.
demolished, and the crew is all like scattered around the beach in like tents with medical stuff going on and everything. Aaron pulls him aside and he's like, "Hey, bad news. And everyone is just sort of like, okay, we need to figure out the mole now, because we can't keep putting this off any longer." So they're here talking, and they basically narrow it down. We're like, we think it's Lazarus, the navigator, the one who was born on the boat, who's the mole,
Who has red eyes.
who is a human, and it's just like red eyes, white hair, very pale skin. We're like, I don't know, he's just a weird dude, whatever.
Just a weird kid.
And it's like in this world, and it's like here's the thing, I don't think red eyes is a justification for him to be suspicious in this kind of world. They have a dog that can teleport.
His name is Stumpy.
Yeah.
He has
But
a pig
anyway,
leg.
they say it's like we think it might be Lazarus. And Aurora at this point is also still deeply upset from having to basically send her real dad's soul to the afterlife and all the stuff going on. And so they concoct a plan to basically trap Lazarus, and see if they can like get him, see what's going on, right? Try to talk with him. And they get him away from the rest of the camp. And then in this talk, something changes in Lazarus, and all of a sudden his skin shifts to this dark gray, and his complete, all of his mannerisms and demeanor change. And it reveals that he has been possessed by an entity known as Zar-Ul, who is also from the future. This entity, Zar-Ul says, like, I came back from the same timeline that the masquerade is from, and I came here to make sure that my time happens. And so basically revealed that he came back and found, he's like, okay, I need to be on the Lady Legacy to make sure that this happens, and saw little baby Lazarus and said, cool, I'm going to turn into a little brain parasite and just hang out inside of there. And so Zar-Ul, like, because of that, Lazarus never really needed sleep. And so that's why Lazarus was always such a good navigator, because he never needed to, like, he thought he wasn't sleeping, but what was happening was Zar-Ul would take over at night and communicate with Dravik and Project Alpha and whoever else. And so the party fights Zar-Ul. They're able to, I think Ironsides was able to one-tap him with a well-placed shot. And then the demon erupted from Zar-Ul's body. And Aurora immediately went over and started applying her healing magic and focused all of her healing on Lazarus.
Well, and I think what had happened, the way that we got him out of Lazarus is that Aurora stabbed him to separate them.
They didn't separate. You got the demon out.
Oh, we got the demon. Okay.
Because he didn't have a different body to separate into.
Oh, man. It was, I know that you stabbed him, though.
Yes.
I remember
you stabbed him. Yeah.
That was traumatic.
Yeah.
Oh.
Then she's like,
yeah. And so while everyone else was fighting this demon that erupted from his body, Aurora was like basically like applying as much healing as she could to Lazarus to keep him alive. And I had Abby roll luck, and she rolled a nat 20, and I said, cool, he lives.
Second best nat 20.
Yeah.
When I tell you that I was so stressed out playing D&D from the point on after Sariel died, I was like, that was like one.
Super hypersensitive to any NPCs being in danger.
Yeah.
Oh.
I got a lot of flowers during this.
Yeah.
Because the rule is that if Abby cries at the table, she gets flowers.
Yeah, so Lazarus is kept alive and no longer has an alien parasite inside of his brain. And they're able to sort of repair the Lady Legacy, at least so it's in floating shape. And then they are able to bring it to, they have to make a stop in Paradise, California to get the rest of the repairs done. While they're there, they are summoned by Project Alpha.
They're like, what? What
yeah,
could you
they say,
possibly
hey,
want?
They say, hey, come meet us at our fancy new mobile HQ, which is actually the mobile HQ of the Fallen Stars, a sort of like Robin Hood type vigilante group that Adriana used to be a part of.
Oh, that's
so,
why we went. I
yeah.
was like, why would we go?
Yeah. And so
Why would you go?
they go there and they meet up, and basically Project Alpha is like, let's lay it out all on the line right now. We'll stop messing with you, or you, if you win. And they're also like, hey, this Malcolm guy, we have him prisoner. And if you don't agree, we're going to do experiments on him and make him a superpowered monster.
Oh.
And they were like,
Yeah.
well,
they're like, how did he get out?
Yeah.
How did he get here?
And so basically, there's like a short tournament arc that happens here where Project Alpha puts forward all of their alpha experiment like characters, and they say, okay, cool, let's do a bunch of one-on-one fights. And I think it was like, if you're able to, there was a lot of other rules because some of the fights were 2-on-2 instead of 1-on-1. But the fight that Aurora had was that she fought with True Mind, who was a person. So she's not a child. True Mind is a character who was injected with the spinal fluid of a mind flayer.
Oh.
And that gave her basically like not the power of persuasion, but was able to make people not hostile towards her. The drawback that happened is that it made her look like a child. So she had the body of a 12-year-old, but she was actually like in her 20s.
Oh.
And so it's one that's used that to her advantage of like, I'm just a kid. Why would you want to punch a child?
And Aurora is very sensitive at this point.
Yes. And so Aurora did not fight back against True Mind and loses. And that was Aurora's contribution to the tournament.
I was so over it.
Yeah. And I think at that point, Richard Briggs was here. That's right. And he said, that's not okay. And so they basically also disqualified True Mind after the fight.
What?
Yeah. Because that's what the new chairwoman, who was formerly Mayor Clarissa Nult, she said, okay, fine. I still have Super Commando in the back, so I'm going to win anyway.
Oh my. Yeah.
We'll explain what happens there in the Super Commando episode. But so the next thing that happens with Aurora is the 8 Days War arc. This is the finale to the Dynamite campaign. Basically, everyone has 6 months to gather up all their resources because there's a little bit of a lull, a chill time in the invasion before the next wave hits, basically.
You know what resource Aurora grabbed up?
Yep.
A husband.
Yeah. Aurora
Very
and
important for
Beauregard.
war.
Yeah. Aurora and Beauregard get married. And with that, so everyone goes up and gathers their resources and their allies and everything. And they all converge at the Great Sands, this giant desert in Africa, which is the wormhole here is where the aliens have been basically building like a fortress from. They have this giant, like the supply depot and everything. And so Aurora leads a group that is much more tactical during the 8 Days War, whereas other characters are all doing their different tasks and missions. Aurora is like hitting strategic points in this area, taking out supply chain locations and everything. And one thing that is notable that happens to Aurora is that she is in the radius, not so when Emperor Graffarim finally shows up with his flagship, he drops a nuclear bomb on the battlefield. And Aurora is not at like the center of it, but she is within the radius and like the outer edges of the radius.
And during this time, she is pregante.
She's pregnant.
Oh no.
Yeah, and so with that, and I think as well, I think everyone in Aurora's group rolled pretty well. There wasn't actually a lot of like people here. It was all of the lieutenants that were in charge with Aurora's group survived, but all of their soldiers were dead after this. So Aurora, Beauregard, and Stumpy were fine.
Yeah, Stumpy had the best role, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, don't kill the dog!
Yeah.
Automatically gets advantage.
So Aurora was Beauregard and Stumpy were able to live and basically survive and get the shelter and everything. And with the help of Aurora's healing is how they were able to manage that. And so they survived a nuclear bomb being dropped. And then the next thing, they reunite with all the party at one of the giant, like, basically like weapons cache areas. And that's where Aurora concocts a plan with Fraxis and Severica. on how they're going to beat the Emperor. Except the thing that happened was that earlier at this point, Gladius and Overkill had been taken captive. And Gladius did not have her communicator after they were taken captive. And no one checked to see if Gladius still had her comms on her. And what happened was the Emperor did have that comms. And so the Emperor heard their plan the entire time.
And oh my gosh, it was the most frustrating thing because so this was like one of our like big like
we were playing for 14 hours.
We played a long day,
and that's a good day.
John and I were like texting at the table, just being like, okay, let's do this. Like he and I were like trying. We tried.
No, their plan was entirely over text, and there was one point they went off into a separate room to talk about the plan.
We tried so hard to outsmart Ben, and it didn't work. It was the most demoralizing I've ever felt at the game table. But yeah,
and so part of their plan was Aurora would go and pretend to surrender on behalf of Earth to the Emperor, and then the rest of them would like basically blow up the flagship and being like, we got the Emperor down here off of his ship, so we're fine if that blows up, and then we have him stranded here. And he said, that's cute that you think that's going to work. Watch me bomb the Fallen Stars HQ. And that was when
Aurora had her Princess Leia moment where it was like a Death Star thing, but like...
Yeah, and we'll explain what happens there in the Aaron episode.
But sees another parental figure die in front of her. She's lost.
The basic version is that Aaron sacrifices himself to save the Fallen Stars.
So we've lost Mom. We've lost...
Real
pretend
birth
mom.
Dad, and oh my gosh,
oh my gosh.
We've lost birth mom, bonus mom, real dad, and bonus dad.
Yeah.
Four parental. We're going to talk about dead parents.
Yeah.
Like Aurora, I think Aurora wins.
Yeah. The rest of the party then comes to save Aurora from Emperor Groffarim, and they're all fighting with Groffarim in the fight. And it's one that Aurora's healing is pulling a lot of weight in this fight.
Yep.
Because especially when Groffarim transforms into the ancient black dragon Groffa, it's no holds bar. Richard has been entirely melted. And a lot of other stuff is going on. But they are able to win at the end of the day. We'll explain how they win in
We'll probably have
another episode.
Yeah, we'll have to do just like an 8 Days War event episode.
But yeah, and then they reunite after about 6 months. They've made a memorial here at the site of the 8 Days War, and they reunite to basically like give their last words of respect to Overkill, who made the final sacrifice so that they could win. And then after that, we get into, so that was all Aurora during Dynamite. Now we're in the after Dynamite era for Aurora, which is a lot lighter on number of things going on, a lot more spread out now.
Yeah, but like not lighter.
Dynamite was just very densely packed for Aurora.
Yeah, Aurora had a lot going on with that. So after Dynamite, so she has Ellie. Her first biological child is they name her Sariel, but she goes by Ellie. So about a year after Ellie is born, she gets a message from Gemstone Industries being like, hey, we need to renegotiate our contract regarding the Rondorium that we've been getting for our court spots. And she was like,
The what?
No. She's like, what do you mean that we've been having this going on for years? So while she was gone, Festus had made a deal with Project Alpha
with Gemstone.
Project Alpha, Gemstone. Festus had made a deal with Gemstone Industries to basically just sell off their most valuable resource, and
for money,
but then also for like that they would be the exclusive trade partner with Rondor. So Aurora was like, no, because the other thing about Rondorium is that it's a regenerative metal too. So like basically where you're able to mine Rondorium, it is constantly regenerating there, so it doesn't run out. Which is why we kind of like talk about Rondor kind of being the Wakanda of reinvent, because they have kind of kept to themselves for a long time. But as Aurora during this like first year, like post campaign, she's like, okay, we need to join the rest of the world because there's a lot going on. and like actually like try and join the United Kingdom and be
There's no United Kingdom.
or not
The EU.
the EU. That's what I meant. Trying to join up with the EU. And just bring them into the 21st century. So there's a boat that they go on to have this negotiation with, wouldn't you know it, Andrew Blood and Roy Smith. Both of them not good people.
Yeah.
So you can take the reins for a bit.
So yeah, in this deal, basically, Andrew is sent out here because he's the one who negotiates most things, and Roy is sent out here because of his ring's power, which is the power of persuasion. And so they try the normal way at first. Andrew's like, "Hey, let's negotiate this deal. We get Rondorium, you get court spots. Sound good?" And Aurora says, "No."
She's like, "I don't want the court spots. I don't want you to have this Rondorium."
And Andrew's like, "Okay, cool. We tried. Roy, do the thing." And so Roy orders Aurora to sign the document. And she does, and then she rips it up afterward and says, Andrew says, "Good thing I have a spare." And Roy says, "Sign this one and do not rip it up afterwards." And so they have the document with Aurora's signature. And afterwards, Andrew decides to run some quick experiments just because he's curious. He's never encountered an Azamar before. And he's feeling his creativity really has flowed back since getting his soul back in his body.
His creativity.
Yeah. And so
That's what got locked away.
Yeah. And so basically, Andrew, through a series of orders from Roy, Andrew stabs Aurora's Azamar wings with one of his shadow blades, and it finds out that it leaves a mark because his like science origin power mixes really weirdly with her genetic her wings, right? And so it actually leaves a permanent mark on there, and like tries to test out her healing factor and how much and how fast it can heal by constantly like doing a lot of really rough damage to Beauregard too. And so after a while,
my Google search history writing that script was crazy.
After a while, Beauregard says, "Okay," or not Beauregard. Andrew says, "Okay, cool. I'm satisfied." Roy, tell him. And Roy says, "You can never talk about this with anyone with anyone outside of this room, ever." And so they can't go to therapy about it.
Which is crazy because then
You can talk to each other.
Well, and they can also talk to Andrew about it because Andrew starts calling Aurora once a month.
Oh.
Yep. That is part of the contract that he gave them too, was that he has to check in on them monthly.
Oh.
And those phone calls, ironically, do lead to a friendship. A very strange friendship.
Yes.
You're a very bad guy, but not bad guy.
Yeah.
No, he was a bad guy.
No, Andrew Blood's the best.
Well, he and his wife, Jane, would send the kids like the best Christmas and birthday presents.
Aww.
Yeah.
Like,
See, not bad guy.
no, he's doing it to piss them off.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh my gosh, Uncle Andrew said the best present." And they're like,
Not your uncle.
but yeah, no, over the course of 15 years, they actually do become friends, but whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so after that happens, Aurora gives birth to triplets. They are named after the dead people in their lives.
Yeah, after more dead parental figures.
It's Justin, Tim, and Aaron, and the three boys all pick up a different trait, like a different Azamar trait from their mom. So like all the kids have the healing factor, but
Yes, that's right, yeah.
the Justin is able to have the wings. Tim is able to use the light cantrip, and Aaron is able to do healing hands. And
Ellie can cast magic.
yes, Ellie can cast magic, and
And
Ellie,
she gets that from Beauregard, not from Aurora.
She gets that from her dad, and she ends up getting magic later when she accidentally becomes a paladin.
Yeah.
But that's another story.
Yep. The next notable thing that happens for Aurora is that there's one year, and I don't think we ever even established what year this was, but there's one year that someone comes up to Aurora while Ironsights is making his yearly visit for Christmas. And there's a little old gnome that shows up at Rondor and says, "Hi guys, my boss needs help. And he had asked for your help specifically. And they said, who is your boss? And he says, I need you to promise you're not going to laugh at me. My boss is Santa Claus.
Well,
And Ben made us play the plot of Santa Claus 3.
No,
Yes,
I did
you
not.
did.
It
Yes,
was not
you
the
did.
plot of Santa Claus 3.
Because-
why was there 3?
Because Jack Frost was the one who was trying to take over Christmas.
Oh my.
So what happened? What happened was that, okay, we will find Santa Claus. What do you have for us? And he's like, we have this lead. He went missing here. And so Aurora and Iron Sights commissioned the help of the Lady Legacy. And at this point, the captain is one Jacob Crystal, was named the captain after Aurora left the ship and brought Jim, Beauregard, and Kana with her. And so Jacob was left there with just a navigator, and so had to restock the crew with new people now. And so
they're crazy.
and they are. This is probably the most buck wild Lady Legacy crew of all time.
You thought the Y2K crew was crazy.
They have nothing on Jacob's crew.
Okay.
And so for reference, their new chef is Tokoro Kaneguchi, who goes by the nickname Coco.
She's
And
nuts.
her people are afraid of her meals. There is a rule on board never to ask what is in her food.
Oh.
Because she loves cooking with magical creatures, and she imbues her food with magic.
Nice.
And so it's usually, it's that stuff. Their new carpenter is Bruce McCarthy, nicknamed Rooster. He is blind.
What?
And he was old friends with Iron Sights, actually. But yeah, it's all sorts of like goofy guys. But Lazarus is still the navigator, because Lazarus and Jacob are best buds.
Mm-hmm.
And so they go and they find they go towards the Antarctic Circle. And they find there's this weird like dome above the ocean that there's just like, it looks like a cloud, but there's something like, we can feel like there's something above it. And so they go up and it's like a fake cloud. It was basically like an extra little hidden layer above there. And they find Santa, and it was Jack Frost had paid several bounty hunters to kidnap Santa.
If you say Super Commando, I swear.
Super Commando is not here.
Okay, good.
Super Commando is not here. But who is here is a bounty hunter named Plague Breaker.
Oh.
Who is someone, she is basically in like all black and decked out with a like plague doctor mask as well. And so Aurora, Iron Sights, and the Lady Legacy crew fight off Jack Frost and Plague Breaker and the rest of the bounty hunters, and are able to save Christmas and Santa Claus.
I mean, that sounds exactly like the plot of Santa Claus 3.
Listen.
So.
Well, and it was really funny because like Aurora was so earnest in like, she's like, of course Santa Claus exists. And Ironside's like, no. You're kidding me.
Yeah.
Rory, you don't believe that she's and he's like, of course he's real. What are you talking? Why wouldn't he be real?
Yep. Yep. And Santa Claus, so I gotta find this now. Santa Claus in the Reinvent universe is an elf named Nicoviel Sensis. And he is thousands of years old. And so that was their journey there. And that was when Iron Sights decided maybe it's time to hang up the hat. Maybe it's time to retire.
This is his retirement episode.
It was the one that put it in his brain, because that was the cold open for that one was him on a job with Gary pre trick shot. They were stopping a bank robbery.
This was rehabilitated.
Yeah, that was sidekick Gary era. Listen to the trick shot episode for that.
Oh yeah, Mr. Science.
But yeah, and then the next thing, and this is the last thing that we've done with Aurora that we'll talk about. Is the heroes in Rondor. And so in 2032, Aurora decides she will host 2 new heroes with the Order of Heroes on their first mission, Trickshot and Tectana. And Trickshot is Gary Klein. And so the fully, what's the word I'm looking for? Rehabilitated former Bandit Klein. And so they're here alongside Iron Sights, and this is Iron Sights' actual retirement. They are here to hunt down Fortunato and Red Notice.
Okay.
Because the 2 of them had stolen something, right? And so they're like, all right, we got to bring him in. And so they're able to track down Fortunato in the streets of Rondor, because Fortunato hates hiding. And then on the way, Aurora
Their
gets
presence
trapped
is known.
inside of one of Fortunato's boxes in the air. Once she like sees them, and then also Aurora is then confronted by Red Notice, who uses her powers on Aurora as well. And so it was one of those where Aurora was faced with not the power creep, but the weird, like bizarre superpowers of the reinvent world. And so that is they are.
That was the first time we used the Sentinel Comics RPG.
Yep, that was a test run to see if we liked how it felt with the reinvent world using the
Okay.
Sentinel Comics RPG. And so it was a lot of fun because also mechanically we were like, no one's ever going to be a threat to level 20 Aurora ever.
Yeah.
You know, unless they're like a world-ending villain. And so it's like, okay, cool. It's but with this, they were about to finally beat Fortunato and Red Notice when a mysterious bounty hunter shows up and was able and basically snatched up Fortunato and Red Notice and said, "Deuces." Didn't actually say anything, but took them away without any word.
And he had a very distinct helmet on.
I hate you.
But yeah, and that is the last stuff that we have. That is all that we've got of Aurora thus far. There's more stuff here and there,
Yeah.
but those are the big stories.
Yeah, I've written like a couple of little things with her. And I've also, I mean, since JD started developing Titus, I've gone back and started writing things differently, like how just how Aurora was brought up, that it wasn't that she wasn't very, like, she was still sheltered as like the crown princess and sole heir to a throne, but like still was like being taught how to take care of herself and all that jazz. But yeah, it was fun building her. I really didn't know how to play her when I first started, mostly because it was our first D&D. It was my first experience playing D&D. But I did know, I was like, well, if we're going to play D&D, I want to play a princess, but I also want to be a pirate.
Yeah.
And I did name her Aurora with the intent that, like, she would not understand a lot of pop culture references. So, like, there is, I've actually drawn one of our Munchkin cards, like something that has to do with sleep, of something, I think it's a one-shot sleep card, and it's a picture of Aurora just falling asleep.
Yeah.
There is an adventure at one point where she is put to sleep and the crew has to figure out how to wake her up.
Yeah.
And Khan is like, this is hysterical.
Yeah.
And they're like, and she's like, are you not seeing this? And Beauregard's like, can you shut up? Please,
Yeah.
we have to wake her up. And Khan is like, you know how this works, buddy. And he's like, that's not how this
No,
works.
that is actually not how this works.
There's also an adventure where there's one of their jobs is escorting a baby to somewhere. Like, that was one of their jobs, is that they were like transporting a baby somewhere.
Yeah, they had to bring it to vampires.
Oh yeah, yeah. They were bringing it to vampires, and then when we realized it was vampires, we were like,
No.
no.
Yeah.
But that was a time that Malcolm jumped them, and he definitely did one of those, like, oh, it's not mine, is it? And she's like, shut up, you're the worst.
Yeah.
And I can't believe we didn't talk about Onyx. There's one time where they, there were a few times that they had to transport this scrangy little dragon named Onyx.
Yeah, a little guard drake.
Little black dragon that was definitely inspired by Sylvie.
Yeah.
And they had to transport it so many times on the Lady Legacy, and at one point they just kept it. So that dragon lives in Rondor.
Yeah.
But since it was a black dragon, Kana figured out how to make, between her and Beauregard, they made a collar for it to keep it from spitting acid everywhere. Because it would spit acid everywhere, and they're like, we got to figure this out.
Just like Sylvie.
I mean, not incorrect.
Yeah.
But yeah, Aurora's been a lot of fun to write over the years. And like writing how she transitions from like her pirate years and then her adjustment having to go back to being in Rondor. And she kind of does go a little stir crazy, like being queen. She's like, I've spent the last so many years just running around the world, literally.
Yeah, well, like, she does not vibe well. She does not get along with the Rondor nobility at all.
No, she cleans house, really, because like her goal, and this is something that comes with the gemstone trade-off, and what makes gemstone look like wonderful and great. It's like, oh, gemstones like giving so much money to help this country come into the 21st century, and but like they like build a one of the Order of Heroes like training bases basically gets put there. And there's she's like trying to get the school system going, and they end up having
they
like
have a helicopter pad, so you don't have to get there by sea.
She's doing a lot of things to like bring the country into the modern age, but a lot of the people who like she had to kind of figure out, I was like, okay, who was more
who are the bootlickers for Festus?
And like those were the ones she had to clean out, because a lot of the people that would have been helpful to her had been killed off by Festus while she was gone. So there ends up bringing in like a lot of younger people and like fresh people to help make things happen. But I do really like how we've written her relationship with Beauregard. Because I remember us talking about it. I was like, at some point Aurora does need to get married, because like she does need to have an heir. Like right now she's the only, like she can't be the last one. So I knew that I wanted her to get married at some point, and have children. But it was like one of the things where like at some point she was like, man, I really like Iron Sights, but he would never stick around. But there was a lot of her being hesitant of her telling Beauregard how she really felt, because she didn't want him to feel the pressure of basically he would become a king consort after that. Like, I mean, she's like, that's what's going to happen
because also Beauregard was talking, he was like, I'm only going to be on this boat until we get you back to being queen, and then I'm out. Yeah.
And like, that was like, when they liberate Rondor, she's like, and I've lost you. And he's like,
no.
Yeah, he pulls the, I said I'd quit the Lady Legacy. I didn't say where I'd go.
And I mean, like, he does quit the Lady Legacy, and he gets a job doing HR basically
I mean, he completely revamps the training for the Knights of Rondor.
Yeah, and like gets it back to, it gets it to a better place, like to after all the Festus nonsense, but. Especially since like JD told us, like, he's like, hey, can my character be Rondorian? And I was like, at first I was like, I don't know. No, he can't. But then I was like, well, maybe. But then like all the ideas that you've been bringing, and we'll talk about it more with the Titus episode, have really made my character's backstory a lot stronger and more empowering and all that. And I think that that's pretty cool. But at first I was like, no. But I didn't ever say that to you.
I was like, I'd never heard this. So
in my head, I was like, it's mine. But that's something that we've said a lot, that I've like talked about, like the idea of us sharing our toys, that like of being able to collaborate with each other to build stories. And what I like about what we have set up with Reinvent is that all of our contributors have been so open to letting other people either build on their characters or like borrow aspects and stuff like that. And the culture that we have of just being able to be like, hey, what about this idea? And we've dubbed Ben the Stanley of Reinvent, that like we'll take everything to him and be like, hey, how does this work canonically? And he'll give the thumbs up or be like a no, but this could work. And that's been pretty cool. And that was a thing with JD starting to develop Titus and bringing a lot more to Rondor, made it way more dynamic. And I think that that's really cool.
I don't want to look at you. I'm going to emo.
But yeah, so there was a lot going. I mean, I had told you stuff about Aurora before, but yeah,
I know so much more now.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. She went through it.
Yeah.
And it was like a thing with her that I wanted. There were times, and I'm just a self-conscious person, where I didn't want her to be like a Mary Sue character. Like her flaw is that she does not trust herself at all, which I would know nothing about. But she is constantly concerned more about the other people around her rather than herself, and like caring more about making sure that everybody else is okay before that. But then she also feels guilty about leading people into dangerous situations, especially when she's constantly losing people. Like her tutor Simon was murdered by Malcolm.
Yes.
And all of the things, like she is constantly seeing people that she cares about get hurt because of her, and not really because of her. It's because people make terrible choices and are hurting people that she cares about. But like for her, she feels like it's her fault. So it's been interesting writing a character like that who, even though she is a very charismatic person and a very good leader, she's not confident in herself at all times, which kind of slows her down in a lot of instances. And I relate a lot to that. I think I think a lot with like the first, maybe not the first D&D character that you make, but like I project a lot of myself onto my characters. Like I've, at least with like Aurora, like I projected a lot of like my own personality traits onto that character. And I think everybody has at least one of those characters that they do it with.
Well, like, and I really like the way our friend Nathan put it when we were in his campaign, and he had said this after one of our sessions, but I'm paraphrasing to the best of my memory for this, but he had put it that like he doesn't think that people intentionally make characters that are similar to themselves, but he says that as a DM, he thinks players make characters who something about them and their arc is important to the player, whether conscious or subconscious about it, right? And so exploring that is naturally just going to get emotional, but shying away from that is more of a disservice to the players. Because it's like, he's like, it's not the DM's job to be a therapist, but if I can help my players open up about something or like feel whatever it is that they're trying to feel through this, then I've done my job.
Well, I've definitely felt a lot of stuff playing in your campaign. I love my Rory.
Yeah.
I remember I used to just say I was drawing fan art of my character, but like I was kind of flipping back through some of the drawings I've done of her over the years, and like just how I've changed just little things throughout the years, and have come up with different stories and like different little things and different little quirks, like how how she and her friendship with Kana, that Kana is like, I'm going to make sure that you understand pop culture. And by pop culture, she means things like Barbie's Princess and the Pauper. That's the pop culture she's talking about. And like Disney movies and stuff like that. And just being able to grow relationships with the people around her. And Aurora's very good at building communities, whether it's on the boat or if it's in Rondor. She's a good facilitator of that. And
just like someone else I know.
I mean, that is my goal as someone leading a nonprofit theater production creative group. And something that that Ben and I have like always wanted to do is that we want to be community builders and make a space for people to be able to feel things and be able to express how they're doing and be able to create things together, and whether it's working through stuff or just having a fun outlet, like that's what's important to me. And I think that's something that's important for Aurora too. Yeah. Did you like learning about my pirate princess queen?
I did indeed, because now I can bug you to make the backstory with Titus more.
This is true. This is true. Yeah.
I've had little tidbits written out, but now we can actually bunker down.
Good.
Yeah.
We can talk about that in Titus's episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's definitely some retcons I do want to put in about like Titus joining, like reuniting, especially just like based off of the timeline of Talon Squad Trusted TURMOIL.
Yeah. So glad.
But yeah, story good.
Yeah.
Story good. Good story.
So JD, before we wrap up this episode, do you have anything you want to shout out or give plugs for?
Nope, not at all.
Really?
Yeah, I'm joking. Yeah, I want to shout out, obviously, the both of you, because both of you are truly amazing people, and I love you both. Shout out the entirety of the Reinvent community. You're all amazing. I do love all of you. Sorry, the emo came out. And then I really want to shout out this really amazing and wonderful and beautiful girl named Libby Denny, who didn't shout me out in her episode, and I was in the room, in
No,
another
you
room
weren't.
in the house.
You were in the,
The
you
next
were in the
room.
next
Yeah.
room.
I'm in the next room over.
Listen,
Ugh.
I set her up for it.
You did. I gave her a lot of crap about that. I told her today. I was like, hey, I'm going to give you crap today, too. So, who, if you don't know, we're dating. Crazy.
What?
What? I know.
How'd that happen?
Thanks, Abby. She won't let me forget. I've tried.
Nope, I won't. You wouldn't even know this girl if I didn't exist.
You're right. I wouldn't. Crazy.
That is all for today's birthday episode of Lore Drop. Thank you so much for listening to our yapping about Aurora Remington. Our next episode, we're going to go back to talking to our friends from Ordinary Heroes about their onstage characters compared to their Universe 17 characters. So be on the lookout for that next episode coming out on Wednesday.
And remember, being fantastic starts with being a fan.
Birthday!
Sorry, no, it's Auntie. Reinvent Productions is proudly sponsored by 5 Points Corporation Lubbock and Savannah Rashida Photography, as well as our other wonderful community patrons. Our home base in Lubbock is Hollingsworth Hall Cultural Center at 4228 Boston Avenue. For more information on how to support our 501c3 organization, you can check out our website at www.reinvent-productions.com. To directly support our upcoming audio drama, you can become a Lore Drop sponsor. For just $10, you can sponsor an episode of this podcast. All donations will go towards support for our upcoming production of Children of Destiny Cataclysm Season 1, which will begin releasing episodes June 22nd, 2026. Funds will go towards paying our wonderful voice actors and creative staff for their fantastic talent and time. We have over 30 artists globally working on this production, and we can't wait for you to hear it this summer. You can donate at givebutter.com/Lore Drop sponsor. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at reinvent.productions, as well as on Facebook and Twitch, where we stream gaming and a look behind the scenes on how we create our new works. Be sure to follow us to stay in the loop about upcoming productions, auditions, and more. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode of Lore Drop.